Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you might be watching this. So just a bit of a quick video today, not necessarily on me showing you how to make something because I've already made it, but I just want to tell you about it, and it's something that I come back to, and I have done for years. And I think it's really important now. The title of the video is bone broth, but don't panic. So if anybody's vegetarian or vegan, we're not going to look in this pot just yet. I will tell you if you want to leave. But you can do this without the animal side of things. I will talk a little bit about why actually the use of bones gives you extra vitamins and minerals, but I totally appreciate that not everybody's into that. My daughter's been a vegetarian for 11 years now. Anyhow, we're going to have just a quick chat about this, but what it's all about and how I have literally made this. There's no bones in here. How I've made this and why, basically. So I can't even remember when I first started to make this, but something like bone broth has been around since prehistoric times. So the history behind it is that it was people who knew that there were extra nutrients that they could get out of, sorry for the vegetarians and vegans, out of bones that would help them as a human. So there's lots of stuff in bones that is good for us, but it's been around for a long time. It's also something that it's got a lot of healing properties to it, and because it's like a warm drink or a warm stock. It's good for lots and lots of different parts of your body, and it's super easy to make. You might remember your granny making it. I can remember my mum, my gran making it. It wasn't called bone broth, which is probably more of a trendy modern term. It was just stock, but it doesn't just have to be stock. It can be used for lots of different things. I always have some in my freezer, so I've got some in my freezer from the last time I made it, and I made some this week. Now I make it when we've had a roast dinner. I buy a nice okay, I'm going to use the animal thing. I buy a nice organic chicken, we have roast dinner, and then I use the bones to make bone broth afterwards, and it is so super simple, it's unbelievable. So if I tell you quickly how I've made it, there's no recipe because it's literally just so simple, and then I'll just go through a few more of the benefits of it. So vegetarians and vegans, if you can turn away for a second please. Okay, thank you. So in my big pot I have my carcass of chicken. It's still got the lemons inside it that I cooked it with, and literally what else I've chopped in there is an onion. It's not even peeled. It had the skin on it, or maybe there's 2 onions in there. I can't remember. I literally just chuck in stuff. So there's onion in there. There's garlic. There's skin on potatoes. There's skin on carrots. Whatever is in your fridge, whatever is in your vegetable drawer can go in there. Leeks. What else do I put in it? Leeks, celery. I think there might have been some parsnips in there from leftover. So you can actually put in your leftover roast veg from your dinner, whack it all into a pot, cover it with water, and then the little magic ingredient, I meant to get this out and I forgot, is, can't find it now, right in front of me, is some apple cider vinegar, okay? Now this got quite trendy for a while, excuse me, but it's got lots of good healing properties. Yeah, you'll see loads of stuff on the internet. It's all, you know, oh, you'll lose a stone, you'll do blah, blah, blah. Forget about all that. If you get a good apple cider vinegar and you want an organic one and you want it to say with the mother, which I think is really funny, but that's because I'm childish. I might say with the mother or whatever. The mother is the bit at the bottom, like the sediment. So you know when you see like a bottle of wine that's got the sediment at the bottom? In apple cider vinegar, that's the good bit. That's the good stuff. That's the good stuff for your digestive system. So if you see apple cider vinegar, don't just go and buy any of it. Make sure it actually says on it with the mother, and if you can, get an organic one. So this helps put in some, you know, a bit of sort of probiotics and that kind of thing into, and helps your gut bacteria. Pop that in there as well. I normally just do a bit of a splash, there's no measurements, chuck it all in, get it on your stove, bring it up to a boil, and then turn the heat down and just let it sort of simmer. Probably about a good 3-4 hours. What you're then left with is liquid. Now you will see kind of, it looks like fat on the top. Now some of it is fat because, you know, it's come from an animal carcass, it's got fat. Let me just pour this in here. So, dripping. Always make a mess. So in here, sorry, I'm going to go back to the animal top. In here, you've got sort of bits coming out of the bones, things like collagen, connective tissue, and these, it sounds disgusting, I know, but these have all got really good properties for a human body. It's good for our joints, it's good for our digestive system, it's good for, the collagen gives you a protein which is from amino acids, and that is really good. The gelatin basically it's called, and it's just very, very good for us, lots of different parts of us. It can strengthen our bones, there's loads of minerals in it and vitamins and all sorts of stuff. We don't need to get too technical, that would just bore you to death. But basically, that is what you end up with. You end up with a liquid. Now you can see it's kind of sticking to the outside. This is a plastic jug. The reason I've got a glass one, which I prefer, but it's not as big. So that's, you've also got good fats in there. So you get good omega fats in there, which we don't need to be scared of fats. Fats, if it's a good quality fat, it's good for our bodies. It helps satiate us. And it actually is just a really lovely warm filling drink. I don't tend to use it that much in the summer. It tends to be more of a winter thing. It's always good to think of, oh, sorry, dog's barking now. It's always good to think of kind of what's happening in the seasons. So, you know, you're not necessarily going to eat loads of salad in the middle of winter. You're going to want more warming things, maybe soups or, you know, warm drinks or roast things, that sort of stuff. So think about what's happening in your season. So, as I say, what I do is I do what I've just said, pop that in there, you end up with your liquid. Now I tend to find that you can probably do it twice, yeah? So you can fill that up once, do your 3-4 hours, whatever, tip it out, leave it in the fridge if you want, do it again. So add more water again. Obviously the second one won't be quite as strong, but if you mix and match, you're still going to get loads of good vitamins and minerals. Add a bit more apple cider vinegar. You can add in, quite often I'll add in turmeric, you can add in cayenne pepper. So all these things that are also really good for your body. You know, it's all anti-inflammatory and blah, 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 all those sort of buzzwords. You know, we need a little bit of inflammation in our body because that protects us if we hurt ourselves. But so many of our bodies these days are actually just overly inflamed. So this can really help with that. Now, some people think this is really gross, but I quite like actually having that in a mug, warm, like a cup of tea. And as I say, because you've got the good fats in there, it will satiate you. So if you're trying to sort of stay off some sugars or snacks or that kind of thing, get a cup of that in. And it's because it's so good for our digestive system, it's going to be good for you all the time. Now, if drinking a cup of bone broth is a bit disgusting for you, then get it into little containers. That's what I've got. So, in my freezer from last time, so that is some from last time. So it just freezes really well. You can just defrost it, either in the microwave, or if you want to stay away from microwaves, just leave it out and use it in place of any stock. So at this time you're brilliant in soups. You know, whack it in your soups, just chuck in vegetables. And another thing that I tend to do, because if you've got good quality veg in there, and even if it's got a skin on it, it doesn't actually matter. Just make sure it's washed. There's no, you know, try not to have chemicals and stuff on. You can actually use these vegetables. So when I'm done with my second batch, I'm going to take my little carcass out. But these vegetables, you can whiz up, add in some more flavour, add a little bit of salt and pepper. You might want to add some extra vegetables in there. Whiz them up with a bit of your stock. Now this is quite concentrated, so you wouldn't put all of that in one pot of soup. You'd maybe use a bit of it. So this is very concentrated. Cook up your vegetables with your stock, whiz it up, and there's your soup. So actually by doing this, you're not only getting your bone broth, but you're getting another meal out of it as well. You're getting some soup. And as I say, just chuck in any vegetables. The more different colours, the more different vegetables, the more vitamins and minerals you need. You get, you know, it's always good to put onions in, put garlic in, as long as you're not intolerant to them or they bother you. Leeks are great, so all these types of things are really good prebiotics. So that basically helps feed the good bacteria in your body. And yeah, if you're recovering from an operation, if you've had antibiotics, if you've been a bit poorly, if you're still a bit poorly, this is a really, really good thing to get into your body. I know a couple of weeks ago I spoke about ginger shots, and I mentioned that when I had been poorly about 4 years ago, and I had had so many medications from the hospital and blah 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 blah. When I got home, I did the ginger shots, but I also got bone broth. Now I had no strength in my hands at the time. I couldn't even hold a knife, let alone cut anything. So I sat here with my poor hubby, had to chop up all the vegetables, and I directed how to make the bone broth. But I knew that that's what I needed. I needed that to strengthen my body up. I'd basically been put to sleep for 9 days. So I knew that I needed, my muscles weren't working, my joints were, you know, from being a fitness instructor to nothing, was just like, I can't lift my arm, I can't move my legs, couldn't walk properly. I knew that I needed to get this in. One, from the point of view of my muscles and my joints, but two, also because I'd had so many drugs going through my system that my digestive system was just wrecked. By putting something like this in, if you just think of a bit like lining it, you're lining your digestive system with good stuff. Yes, you can buy it. If you're going to buy it, get some organic if you can. If you're not, and if you're a vegetarian or a vegan, you can still do the same with vegetables and your apple cider vinegar. You'll get slightly different things from it, but put in other stuff, make up your own, use lots and lots of different vegetables. Yes, you're not going to get the collagen and that kind of thing, but you will get still lots of vitamins and minerals that are always going to be good for you. The more colours you get in there, the more, the different vitamins, different minerals, loads and loads of good stuff for your body. It's a winner. It's fair to say that nobody else in my house drinks this, but not my vegetarian daughter, but if I'm making anything that involves stock, it goes in. This is what goes in. So, bone broth, vegetable broth, stock, whatever you want to call it. Next time you have a roast dinner, vegetarians, vegans, call it away, put your carcass in, add some vegetables, add some water, add some apple cider vinegar, some turmeric, and off you go. By the way, that's chicken in there, but you can use any bones. You could use fish, you could use beef, you could use lamb, whatever you like, whatever your tastes are. So that's your little mini education session on bone broth. Crack on, go and make some, and let me know how you go. For this time of year, it's perfect. It really is. All right, see you next time.